Well, welcome back to my channel, Mispronounced Adventures. My name is Alex, and welcome to my 4x4 MAN TGE adventure van build, where I'm building, in my eyes, a new ultimate adventure van to replace my much loved Ford Transit, which I spent the last 4 winters living in the Arctic in. This video is dealing with one of the things I've always thought was a bit strange about the MAN TGE, or the Crafter. They never seem to have headliner shelves. Unlike the Transit, which I use for storage all the time, it's just a huge empty cavity in the TGE. So I decided to buy one. And this is by a company called Vanconcept, as they came recommended after speaking to quite a few different installers. And this isn't a sponsored video from them. I bought it with my own money. After I purchased it, I did actually contact them, and they have now given me a discount code for you guys to use. So if you like the video and like the product, there's a discount code in the description so you can get some money off. There's a few different variations. There's just the bare brackets, which we'll see later on. There's the DIY version, which comes with the CNC'd shelf, but with no covering on it, which is like what I went for. And we're going to put some upholstery on it later on in this video. And you can also get some ones with some stretch carpet on, pre-done for you. Well, let's get the brackets open. Air freshener, and you may have noticed that I now have a driving chair, and there's going to be a later video in the series about how to convert a standard driving seat into a passenger seat. But what's in the box? I've got my order form, fasteners, and all the brackets. Ooh, custom cut, bent, and painted brackets. Get the branding on there. I presume there's going to be the mirror for the other side. Nice. And what's in the fastenings? Well, there's quite a lot. Maybe I'll go see if there's some instructions. So I decided I wanted the version which was all pre-cut. Because it's CNC'd, it's even got some nice bells on the edges so it lines up. Support brackets already added. And I just thought it would be overall easier to get one pre-made opposed to having to do all these shapes. If you order just the brackets, then it comes with a paper template so you can cut your own out. Let's just do a dry fit. There we go, dry fit quite well. All behind the bulkhead is another video which I've already insulated and how to get it off, but I obviously wanted to do the installation first because I didn't want to have to take this down after it's up. So let's get the brackets installed. The whole thank you leaflet comes with the fitting instructions as well. Right, time to get the brackets fitted. Too small. One bolt out. A hex bolt. All right, switching from a Torx to a hex. Spacer. Bracket in, and the upper brackets. So these are just using the original bulkhead holes. Bit of play in them at the minute, but that means I can adjust them later. And let's repeat for the other side. Right. You've got to appreciate when people design nice stuff. It just fits rather well with the existing headliner. I do like the nice touch as well of the logo in there. Actually, we can pull that tab off as well. Right, let's get these all adjusted. So there are bolt holes in here which will line up. Let's just make sure we get this all nice and in place first. Cool. This van build doesn't pay for itself, so here's this episode's partner, EcoFlow, and the Delta 3 Plus. Well, Black Friday's coming up, and EcoFlow have asked me to tell you about their deals. One of EcoFlow's most popular power stations was the Delta 2, and this is the successor, the Delta 3, although this is the Delta 3 Plus. Right, quick walkthrough of the Delta 3 Plus. The Plus model's got upgraded USB-Cs to 140 watt, and USB-A as well. The inverter plugs are now on the front of the unit, and an 1800 watt inverter. For me, one of my favourite upgrades is the changing of the ports. So gone is the expansion battery port on the side, it's now on the back, so you can use things like the alternator charger, or plug in the air conditioning unit directly, or your expansion batteries. The Plus model has 2 solar controllers, your AC plug, and one of my favourite little upgrades is this door, which is stuck out on previous models, now disappears. And charging wise, it can go from 0 to full in 56 minutes. As usual, you've got the EcoFlow app. The Delta 3, much like the predecessor, the Delta 2, is a 1 kilowatt hour power station, which for me is my favourite size. So there's a quick look at the EcoFlow Delta 3 Plus. Now, with the EcoFlow Black Friday sales, the whole EcoFlow line is on sale. A quick walkthrough if you need something light duty, something like the River 3 or the River 2, which has been my Arctic drone charging station for the last few winters. Maybe something medium duty. Consider the EcoFlow River 2 Pro, or the equivalent in the new 3 series. On the heavy duty line, we've got the popular Delta 2 and the recently talked about Delta 3 Plus. And if you need to go extra heavy duty in the 2000 watt-hour capacity, you've got the Delta 2 Max and then some units even larger. But Black Friday sales are EcoFlow's largest sales of the year, going up to 60% off. There's probably a power station to suit your needs. Consider checking out the link in the description below to see what deals they've got on, and let's get back to the rest of the video. Well, the shelf needs some finishing, so I've bought a few things. On the top side, where I'm going to put stuff, I've got a roll of this rubber matting, which I bought on one of the Arctic trips to do the bike slide. The slide is 1.59, but above it they've got the rolls are actually the diamond back. And fabric wise, I bought some headliner trim. This headliner trim I bought off eBay. It's not an exact replica of what's in the van, but I think it's pretty close. And I've also got some foam in it as well, so it should at least give a nice texture. But yeah, not identical, but not too far off. Right, well, very conveniently, the cardboard it comes in makes a good surface for spraying trim fix. This was just ordered off eBay. And it cost me about £14, which is not bad. Right, best do this in a ventilated environment. So I've got this door open and the side door. And try not to breathe it in. Trim fix is really not a great material substance for your health. Passerby recognised me and came to chat to me, but didn't realise I was filming at the time.
All the best to you anyway.
Thank you very much, sir. Enjoy your walk. And for an extra bit of reassurance, we're going to put some staples in. Well, that's one side done. This rubbery material had stood up quite well in the Transit and the bike slide. It didn't have much damage after about a year's use, so I thought it'd be quite good on the overhead shelf, just so any items, one, stay still and don't rattle around. It was working well. A few more. Since the material is quite heavy, I thought it'd be best to just staple one of the edges so it's fixed and then I can line it up slowly. Do not really know how I'm going to do this. Should probably ask for help. Oh shit. But with doing the trim fix slowly on the main board itself and then really working it into some of the bits of wood in the corners, it seemed to be staying quite well. And then at the end of it, just neaten it up with a Stanley knife. Even though the corners weren't the neatest, you're not really going to see it as it's going to be at the back of the headliner shelf anyway. Decided to add a few more staples from the staple gun, just as a bit of extra security so it remains in place. Right, I think that looks quite good. Now, I'm not too bothered about the front edge at the minute because there will be a face over it, so you'll never see it anyway. And then same for the back edges. They're not the neatest, but they don't need to be. They're going to be right next to the headliner, so you'll never see them. So let's actually get it in position. Well, I think that looks pretty smart. So I need to get these bolts in now. Now there is a pre-existing bolt hole in here somewhere. There we go. Right, and it comes with a little washer and a little nylock nut. Right, let's go to the other side. And then enough on it again. Right, make sure we're happy with all the adjustment locations. Right, and some little screws to hold the shelf in here. Might want a long bit for that actually. Just going to trim this off, even though it doesn't really matter because it's going to get covered in long term anyway. Right, there we go. Pretty happy with that. Size wise, it adds about 22 centimetre gap in the middle, and that's just most of the way along. Total width is about 122 centimetres, and depth is about 50 centimetres to this area. And then the very back cavity is at most about 66 centimetres. And there we have it. Vanconcept's overhead shelf, the MAN TGE or the Crafter. And I'm very happy with it. I think definitely going for the pre-cut version, but unupholstered so you can do your own thing is the way forwards. And really, very easy to fit. I think the most difficult bit for me was probably the upholstery. So I bought this myself, but I now do have a discount code. So if you look in the description, there's a discount code so you can get some money off. But I'm very happy with my purchase. It will get finished off eventually, so you won't be able to see the front. But maybe I'll leave it open, maybe I'll put some doors. And more or less, that's it. If you've liked this video, consider checking out the rest of the TGE content on the channel, or some of the other content where I take my vans to. Or if you really like this content, consider joining the channel members. Other things which can help me out is if you look in the description below, there's a bunch of discount links to different companies, Amazon affiliates. I work for Roma, which is a UK lithium battery company, and I do their customer design consultations, which is an electrical service which people can book. I'm a brand ambassador for Autotherm, looking at the hot air heaters, hot water heaters, and they're going in this van. But generally, I just want to make content for you guys to enjoy. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Cheers. Bye.